Ladies and gentlemen, Fistic Fury at Fort Knox. Here we go. Let's get it on with bout number 2. Ladies and gentlemen, when the bell tells for the first of 8 rounds of cruiserweight boxing, your referee in charge of the action is a man who's been a referee judge in 43 World Championship fights. Ladies and gentlemen, 8 rounds of cruiserweight boxing. Would you welcome, ladies and gentlemen, on my right, occupying the red corner, former Victorian Amateur Boxing Association star from Narre Warren. 2 professional fights, 2 big wins. Here in the ring, ladies and gentlemen, scaling 80.70 kilograms with former amateur and professional star champion Jim Slatter and Pat Elhimi from the Rowville Gymnasium. Ladies and gentlemen, wearing Collingwood colours of black and white. Would you welcome Nick Lights Out Lantouris. And ladies and gentlemen, would you welcome, occupying the blue corner with Dave Berry and Billy Manane in the corner, from the Mornington Peninsula, from Mornington, scaling 79.35 kilograms last night at the Shamrock. In kickboxing, he was an Australian champion, 28 bouts. In professional boxing, he made his pro debut in Adelaide last December against Jamie Wallace, who features in our main event. Ladies and gentlemen, would you welcome, wearing Smokin' Joe Frazier length white trunks, the man, Dean Keady. 8 rounds of boxing. Your referee, Malcolm Boulder.
Gentlemen, welcome to the ring. You had instruction for a good clean fight. Shake hands now and come out fighting at the bell. Good luck to both the fighters.
Here we go. Round 1.
Moving forward, Keady is now moving forward. And Lantouris there defensively just standing back, waiting for Keady, as we know, was for Jamie Wallace, as Howard Lee, ring announcer, just mentioned to us. And he looks to be in fine fettle. Lantouris is probably, Scotty, a fairly defensive cruiserweight.
He is quite defensive. He's tall and rangy, so he tries to use that length to his advantage, which is quite a sensible strategy, particularly against someone shorter like Dean Keady. Dean looks to be quite a compact little unit. He keeps his hands up high and works behind his jab.
Yeah, well, just then Lantouris used a bit of muscularity there to push Keady across the ring, Barry. Looks a little bit taller, and will that reach advantage help him?
Oh, well, if he knows how to use it, will Steve. But at this stage, Nick Lantouris looking quite impressive. Very confident sort of boxer, Scott. Yeah. Like drops his hands a fair bit, but make sure he does it out of range at this stage. But Dean Keady with a bit of experience, and looks like it's going to develop into an interesting fight, this one.
Certainly does. Lantouris can get defensive a bit. He's good when he comes in, he grabs, and before the fighter, we've seen it with him before. Good uppercut there, right uppercut, but it didn't do any damage. There's no power behind it, and Keady still fairly steady there in front there, straight in front of Lantouris, waiting for the next move, and he goes again with the left hand over the top right. Oh, no damage done.
Yeah, I think it's good to see Nick developing. He's throwing a range of punches tonight. He's throwing out some more punches than he has in the past, and looks a little bit more aggressive.
Certainly does, and his lateral movement's pretty good too. I think the last time we saw him fight, he was a bit more stagnant from a moving point of view, but tonight moving more laterally left and right, gentlemen.
Yeah, which is good. Good to see him improving. Good to see that that he's been able to go away from his fights and learn and listen to his trainers and do as he's told.
That is all business too. Got a good trainer there in Jimmy Slatter, so he's well tutored.
Cheryl Thomas, the lady in the plum from Knox Recreational. Thank you, Cheryl, for another great night at the Knox Stadium. Our ladies from Bodyworks with manager D, Christina and Peggy Sue.
As you mentioned,
Bodyworks.
you've got Jimmy Slater in the corner, and also Pat McElhinney, an ex-boxer. You know, two very, two fantastic guys to have in your corner. Heap of experience between them, and a couple of absolute gentlemen, and certainly know what the boxing business is about.
Yeah, they both certainly do. Interesting, Dean Keady standing in the corner, not using the stool at all.
It says professional boxing
certainly seems fit. He's not puffing at all after that one round, as you would expect, one would hope.
It was a fairly tame first round. That wasn't a real lot, but let's give it a few rounds and see how he goes. They
might bring that stool out.
I reckon they might.
No doubt. Well, that first round, gentlemen, did we make a decision as to who we thought was in front there? I thought Lantouris probably did more of the work and may have just got there, or it could have been an even round.
I think an even round, maybe. If anyone won it, Lantouris.
Yeah, just about pinched it, maybe. A bit flashier. But he's pretty tucked up, Keady, you know, nice and tight and compact, and having a go at the body there and coming up to the head.
Yeah, certainly is very strong, Barry, and here comes Lantouris trying to work him out on the ropes, though, but Keady's trying to get off there, but Lantouris using his body strength, Barry, there, just to keep Keady pinned.
He needs to give himself a bit of distance, push him back against the rope, then step back a bit maybe, instead of sort of leaning on him. Yeah. Because he's got the hand speed.
Yeah,
he looks strong tonight, Lantouris.
He certainly does, yeah, he looks a bit stronger. But that's where he can get a bit defensive. He could have stood back then, like Barry said, and maybe pinged Keady with a couple of good punches, but decided to get into a scrimmage, Scotty. Now then Lantouris there opening up into the solar plexus region with a nice right hand, but
nice little right hand.
Keady is strong enough to get himself out of that proposition, and now he's back in the ring centre. He does look pretty strong and stocky, doesn't he?
He's not panicking. Neither of them are panicking or getting overexcited at this stage.
Lantouris moving well again. I tell you what, his foot movements have improved out of sight since I last saw him. He's well anchored too, but he does move around the ring. He's using plenty of ring space. Keady slapping a rib-roasting punch to Nick Lantouris, but then Lantouris comes back hard, pummeling away at the body and the head of Keady in front of the commentary area, and Lantouris.
That certainly got Lantouris going, didn't it? It was a cracker of a shot too.
It was like a jockey giving a top horse at the top of the straight a crack with a whip, and did that get some movement going?
He does some good stuff, Keady. I'll tell you what, that was a beautiful right hook. It was outside the elbow, perhaps maybe a little bit round the back, but it was a good shot, one that I used to try and get away with as often as I could. But yeah, interesting round that.
It was an interesting round.
I think that was Lantouris' round, but I think Keady showed a lot more towards the end of that round of what we've probably got to look forward to.
You probably have to, you know, that flurry when Lantouris came back after copying that big shot probably did win him the round, because he threw a hell of a lot of punches in that flurry.
Did he ever? I'll tell you what, you wouldn't want to get too many of those rib-roasting punches from a guy like Keady, with starting him down sort of laterally low and then bringing them in like that.
Yeah, no, that's a good shot, that right hook to the side of the body. It was one of Sugar Ray Robinson's favourite shots. He used to lead with the left to the head and hit you with the right hand right round the side. Almost illegal, but if the guy turns into it, bad luck.
It's his fault for turning, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
That's right.
What about Lennox Lewis? Did you see that Lennox Lewis knockout? I mean, in slow motion, that was technically possibly a foul, that knockout.
It held the back of his head.
But it was very well done.
A well-done foul.
Yeah.
A well-cooked foul. So still the champion there, Lennox Lewis. A good learning curve for Mike Grant, though, just the same. I think he learned a lot out of it when he sees the replay.
I don't think he's got it, Mike Grant. He's been looked after so far.
Yes. Well, here comes Lantouris again now, just poking out that left jab, and Keady is...
Keady's finding his range a bit more now. He did the last 30 seconds of the previous round, and certainly starting better this round.
Couldn't agree more, Scott. He can whack a bit. He's got a bit of power there.
Oh, yeah.
I think wild with the right hand on that occasion.
I think he's going to concentrate on that solar plexus rib region now that he knows that he can probably land something pretty good there, and he might keep away at that, Keady, if he gets the chance.
Yeah, not easy to get onto with Lantouris, because he does keep his hands low, so he's sort of got the body covered, but having the body covered means he hasn't got the head covered.
No, that's a good point.
Yeah, he could be open to those sort of looping overhand punches, Scott. You know, like guys that hold their hands down. You know, they seem to get tagged with those big ones. You know.
Yes. Then Keady just didn't have one levelled up to go at Lantouris. Now Lantouris, I was just looking at his left eye. There's not a slight weld or mouse forming there, is there? I'm not sure, but Keady comes in hard and they tangle.
Yeah, I think there is a bit of a mouse under Lantouris' left eye. I don't think it's anything to worry about at this stage, but they banged heads a few times in there, and
Yeah.
you know, it's
Can just take place, but there it is. It could swell up a bit, but won't cause him any trouble over 6 or 8 rounds, I wouldn't think. He wouldn't think so anyway, unless it did start to open up, but it's not in the area that's going to cause him too much trouble.
I tell you, Keady gets in there and he's not doing enough work. He's the shorter of these two guys, and he's in there now. He needs to be working, Scott.
Yeah, if anyone's working harder, it's Lantouris. He's showing a lot of leather, and that catches the attention of the judges.
Oh, it certainly
and
does.
He's very mobile for a big person. Like, he just naturally catches your eye. He's a big person. He's mobile. He gives you something to look at all the time.
He does, yes, and look at that, moving
He
around
sees
there.
punches well too. I mean, he does see punches very well. Nick
Laterally moving to the right, and did ping Keady with a couple of nice shots to the facial region then, and I would have thought that Lantouris won that round.
Another Lantouris round on our unofficial cards.
Yep, certainly unofficial, but at the moment Lantouris is boxing quite efficiently.
If you're in Keady's corner, what would you be telling him now?
At this point in time, Scotty, you go first.
I'd be telling him to do more work and try and get inside the arms of Lantouris. He can't be sitting. He can't be sitting on the outside because Lantouris is too long.
Maybe try and back him up as well, because I mean he's fairly nuggety, fairly strong, and he's fairly compact. Keady, he's got a bit of power, but he's not using it to his effect. He needs to bust him a bit, I think.
And he's got to try and cut him off in those corners. With Lantouris moving around the ring, Keady's not giving himself the throw leather because Lantouris is constantly moving. So if he can cut a few corners off, get him into the rope region a bit more and start to pile away.
One of those rips to the body.
Oh, yeah, because he looks like he's got a good punch there, and that's what, if he's got a good one there, we'll stick with it.
In the past, we've seen Lantouris sort of use the peekaboo style by laying back on the ropes, and he hasn't been on the ropes at all tonight.
Not at all. It has changed a bit. Maybe he wasn't right the last time we saw him. He may have been, was it one of his earlier fights and in his career, and may not have been completely on the mark, but he's looking a lot more confident tonight, the way his whole style's changed. So here comes Keady's coming underneath, but Keady seems to be just standing back just a fraction too far. He's not giving himself a chance to get underneath, as we said, to land those body punches and maybe even try and get something working upstairs. Coming around the back there, didn't do much damage, and he's now tangled up, and Malcolm Bullner, World Boxing Council referee, will move in to split them up. You think Keady, the way he sort of looked like he was going to start, would have been moping on by now, Barry?
Yeah, as soon as Lantouris opens up, Keady goes back into his shell.
Yes.
He needs to be sort of mixing it with him a bit, I think, especially up close there. He needs to be trying to push Lantouris back. Maybe just, you know, Lantouris is in control of this bout, and that's the way it's going to stay at this stage. It's,
so you get the feeling Keady's just dropped about 10% in confidence since about halfway through the first round, or the end of the first round, because he's not trying to take the fight up to Lantouris, is he?
Yeah, no, he's trying to put the jigsaw together, and it's just not happening for him at the moment, because as it comes in close, he's getting hit with flurries like that, and that's where he should be getting to work.
Yeah, exactly, well, there's 4 or 5 punches in there that, as you said before, Scotty, the judges are going to like them because they're scoring, and Lantouris again.
Lantouris boxing very confidently. Keady tried that overhand right and missed badly with it.
Now, nice diversion removed from Lantouris to miss the Keady, the flying Keady coming in. Keady ended up splattered on the ropes virtually. Very deceptive for a big man, Lantouris.
Yeah, he's nice and fast and very mobile.
Good to see for a light heavy. And, crunching punch, but I think it caught the elbow of Keady. Heading towards the solar plexus, just land on the side of the elbow, and no damage done to Keady's midsection. But there goes the bell for what would probably appear to be another Lantouris round.
Undoubtedly.
Yeah, it certainly was.
Yeah, he's certainly got this bout under control at the moment. Keady's, if he's going to have any chances, really got to do something in the next round, I think.
Oh, he has to, yes. Well, he's halfway through and he's in trouble, so it's got to happen, isn't it?
Lantouris looking very confident, and, you know, seems to be coasting along at the moment.
I think he's doing what he's told. His trainer's telling him to keep out of trouble, keep his hands up, and you know, work at his distance.
Yep.
Oh, yes.
And I think as the fight progresses, we might see more of those flurries. And he definitely had Keady in a bit of trouble at one stage of that round, or you know, after a sustained flurry.
Keady Dean
Keady didn't really know where he was at one stage there.
You get the feeling that Lantouris may have watched a couple of old Muhammad Ali tapes, Barry, the way he's sort of moving.
He's very confident. He drops his hands when he's out of range. I mean, when he's up close, he seems to have his hands up, but he's, as I said, he's got good anticipation. He sees punches well. Yeah,
well, you can see, obviously see a future for that boy in light heavy ranks at this point in time. So here he goes again, Nick Lantouris, wearing the Collingwood colours, but they won't hold that against him, and he's sizing up to Keady. Hopefully she's going a lot better than what Collie was at the moment in this fight, that's for sure. So Lantouris, oh, big uppercut there, a swinging uppercut coming underneath hit fresh air, but gee, wouldn't have wanted to have landed. Keady head may have been heading towards the rafters, but didn't strike.
You can almost sense the frustration in Keady now, can't you? He's just looking for the openings that just aren't appearing at the moment.
Not coming. I think he's struggling a bit from the height situation and the reach. He's just finding it very frustrating to try and work his way in. Did strike. Lantouris was right near us.
Tried a big hook there and had a bit of success. I don't think it landed too flush, but Lantouris comes back harder.
Oh, does he ever? I mean, when you stick this man into action, he opens up, and Keady can't do anything about that.
Well, it's often said the best form of defence is aggression, isn't it?
Oh, yes.
Exactly what Lantouris goes for.
Well, that's probably the thing, is that Lantouris might even go into a comfort zone, but then when he's stung like that, he just bounces straight back into reality and opens up.
Keady's really trying this round. He's trying to do what he should do, is, you know, unleash punches when he gets up close, and he's had a bit of success, but Lantouris looking cocky, still confident, moving away well, you know, landing good combinations when he needs to. But so far, this is Keady's best round, I think.
Certainly is.
He's certainly trying to force the aggressive stakes. And all big swinging punch there missed, but Keady's still coming back. He's bending down now. We're trying to find a way of untangling himself from Lantouris. So the right hand, as they're tangled up, it gives one, and Lantouris has got that welt starting to build up a little bit under the left eye, but still no problems for him. Now Keady now starting to appear to be a lot more aggressive now, and now tricks him in a headlock there. Wrestling manoeuvre won't work here, and Lantouris grappling towards the end of the round. And, well, you know, fairly interesting round. It could be fairly close to being a fairly even round, do you think? Or,
no, I think
Lantouris did enough to...
I still think he did enough, even though that was Keady's best round. I think, you know, maybe it was... Maybe Lantouris landed the more effective punches, but it was good to see Keady trying something different.
Exactly.
And, cross-arm smother, walking up there, throwing left hooks, which is what he needs to do, you know, rip and hook. And
needs to be working up and down the body.
Exactly.
No doubt about that.
Well, that stool hasn't come out yet, so he must feel pretty fit. He's still standing in the corner.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I tell you what, every time I'd get at the end of the round, I couldn't wait to get on the stool.
I was the same.
It could serve a bit of energy. You'd think that'd be the smart move, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
But maybe the short one still in that corner in their capital equipment, maybe when they came to the boxing tonight, gentlemen. But anyway.
But often when you're training in the gym, you stand between rounds. Maybe it's built for consistency. That's what you're used to.
Yeah. Well, probably not helping him all that much tonight. If it's probably might not be a hindrance to him if he's doing it all the time. So, Keady, different tactics there in between rounds.
Keady trying to do the right thing, get up close, but Nick Lantouris outboxing him, moving well, side to side, good lateral movement, as you said before, Steve. Yeah. Got the left jab out, you know. He's hard to nail for a big fella. He's doing very well.
And I tell you what, to keep going like that all night, he's obviously done the fitness work too, hasn't he?
Yep. No, very fit. Looks in top condition.
Might be a slight nick under Lantouris' eye.
It's at the under the left eye or the right? Is it the right? Is it where the nick is? Because the welt's under the.
It's under the eye, so it shouldn't cause any problems.
No, he might have a
lovely left-right hand from Lantouris.
Yes.
Little short right hand landed.
Good body shot.
Oh yes, he's working away at the body there now. Keady's in a bit of trouble here, covering up.
Dean Keady's in trouble here.
Oh yes,
good body shots again.
Another big right body shot there. He's pounding away, and tried to just grab him by the head there, a little push away there. A little bit of treatment of contempt, I suppose, but entitled to feel that way. And Keady comes in.
Walked into a solid left hand from Lantouris as he came in.
Oh, boy. Lantouris is throwing punches in bunches now, isn't he?
Yeah, Keady's just unable to cut the ring off from Lantouris. So Lantouris has got the full lateral movement both sides without any worry of running into Keady.
And he has failed to cut him off from some of those manoeuvres, hasn't he? Hasn't cut his lines off, and that's what he needed to do, and can't do it. So
he's tried really hard these last two rounds, Dean Keady, and they've been better rounds for him. He's landed better punches, but every time he stings Lantouris, every time he lands cleanly on Lantouris, it just fires him up all the more. And
he always knows there's a receipt coming, doesn't he?
Punches in bunches. Yeah, exactly.
certainly a Lantouris round, I feel, that one. And very courageous effort from Keady. Like he's really struggled to pull any of the rounds out. Yet he's still going, like a bull at a gate, 100 miles an hour, trying his heart out.
So the last 2 rounds have really been his most successful because he really has had a dip, walked up, trying that left hook, the good body shots, which we saw earlier.
Yes.
But Lantouris just handles it all, very comfortably and glides away and throws his flurries.
That's right.
It just seems that as Keady steps up one level, Lantouris is able to step one up a little bit, just that little bit higher each time.
He does.
There's a bit of a difference there. There's I suppose the class factor you call it in this division. A bit of a weight differential. I see Lantouris probably about 1.5 kilos heavier. He's got that huge height advantage and probably a reach advantage there easily as well.
He looks the bigger man all round generally, doesn't he?
He does, yeah.
I just wonder how much weight after the weigh-in each of them was able to put on, because it would certainly appear that Nick Lantouris has been able to put more weight on post-weigh-in than maybe what Dean Keady has.
He is pretty lean.
Notice here that I think they forgot the mouthguard after the commencement of that round there.
You were giving those corner men a rap before. And Jimmy Slater.
Did at the start. Have a word to Jim at the end of the fight, and so he spoiled the copybook. But they're probably so worked up with the rest of their instructions, concentrating on, they forgot about the peripherals being the mouthguard.
I believe they did that on purpose because they wanted to give him more instructions.
It's Lantouris now.
Jimmy Slater's now the Angelo Dundee of Melbourne boxing.
He'll be splitting his glove next.
Well, at least he didn't forget his shorts or his boots. That's the moment.
Good right drive to the chest there from Keady, but didn't have any effect at all on Lantouris.
And he seems to be just going on very smoothly now, Nick Lantouris, doesn't he? He's not really under pressure at the moment at all from Keady. It was then a nice punch from Keady to the side of the head, but hasn't stopped Lantouris in his tracks. Oh, one of the left hand caught him on the chin, coming in from Keady on Lantouris, but Lantouris opens up again with a body shot.
Yeah, no,
it's the same old story, isn't it?
Yeah.
He looks as though he's got the power to hurt Lantouris, but at no stage so far has Lantouris looked like being phased at all.
Doesn't get caught with it, he's just too quick. He just gets out of the way, doesn't he?
Yeah, fires back, as we said, lifts the level up a couple.
Yeah, you just feel as if Keady getting a bit frustrated because he knows he's got some body strength there, but apart from that one body rip, that rib roaster, we haven't seen him really use that strength, have we?
Yeah, and if you look at Keady's body, you can see there's a number of red welts to the side of Keady's body where the body punches of Lantouris have been landing.
Yeah.
He has. He's landed a lot of good body shots.
A lot of them, hasn't he? He's more of that pocket battleship style, Keady, isn't he? But just hasn't been able to land a torpedo, I think, so far.
Yeah, it's just not his night. I think he's got certainly a lot of potential, has shown a capacity to be able to throw good punches, but just hasn't had the right opponent, just hasn't suited him tonight.
Yeah, no, I have to agree with that too, Scott. He just hadn't been able to, tag him or fathom his style. And I mean, it is a bit of he has got quite a flamboyant style too, Nick Lantouris, the way he moves. And he's a bit too quick on the night.
He's progressed with that style because he didn't quite handle himself that way the last time we saw him, Scotty.
No, he's improved in leaps and bounds, really, and it's only been a couple of months.
And the confidence level is up. There's no doubt about that. The boy's confident.
Yeah, it's amazing what a couple of wins will do, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it is. And the expert traineeship of Jim Slater that we were talking about earlier on.
That's right.
He was a great little fighter himself, Jimmy Slater. A pleasure of sparring heaps.
Good man. And eighth and final round coming up here at Murray Thompson Promotions at the Knoxfield Netball Centre in Melbourne, Victoria. What a great night's boxing we've got on hand. Already seen a good bout, this one about to come to an end between Nick Lantouris and young Dean Keady. And Keady tries to come in hard. Lantouris, equal to the task, bounces back.
Well, you think
Keady,
think Keady's quarter would have said to him, look, the only chance of getting away with this is to bowl him over, so this is your round.
Yep, he'll have to try for sure. Well, he's trying some big bombs now.
Yeah, he got one of those solar plexus punches in just then, Barry, I think. Although I don't think he hit him 100%.
Another cut now on Lantouris, just opening up.
Oh, just on the side of the right eye.
It's trickling down the right side. It was from the left hook, so it definitely was a punch that opened it up.
And a slapping punch to the side of Lantouris' head by Keady again. Keady's definitely trying to motor his way home here, and Barry's right. The corner would have told him you're going to have to not much point. It's not a Spanish bullfighting contest, and you just can't.
He's got the right idea, Keady. Come in with that left hook over the top there, but
but Lantouris caught him with a ripper punch.
A beautiful right hand.
Oh, was that a beauty? And I think Keady's in trouble now. He felt that one. And the boy is feeling a bit seedy at this time of the fight. Young Keady, I'd say. Anyone would from a punch of that quality.
Great right rips that he's throwing. I think that, a lot of people get the left rip off. Not a lot can get that right rip off. And he's doing a great job, Lantouris.
Oh, I tell you what, and he's been working away at Keady's stomach region too, then Lantouris too. Just knowing that, OK, I've got the good punch in with the right hand, but I've got to follow up with a body shot, Scotty.
That's right.
And he's just letting Keady know that it's not going to be a one-sided last round where Keady gets to call the shots.
Don't worry, Nick Lantouris knows he's been in a fight. After this, he'll know he's been in a fight. He's got a few bruises, but I tell you what, he's doing some brilliant body work.
Oh, look, we're just about to hear the wind sail out of Keady's stomach region then after a couple of those.
Some terrific body shots.
Oh, classic right hand, just bounced on the scone.
He just sat back and waited on that and karate. Great fight.
Great effort.
Excellent fight.
10-8 that one.
Clearly a Nick Lantouris victory coming up on points.
10-8 the last round, I reckon.
Yeah, he did a good job, didn't he?
Did a top job.
I mean, that last right
Keady did really try, and he's got some good punches, and he can whack a bit. You know, his game is Ned Kelly, so he did pretty well to last the distance. Really, he did well.
Oh, he certainly did. Well, that first crunching right hand he suffered on the other side of the ring was enough to would have poleaxed a lot of boxers, gentlemen, but he was able to withstand that. But then, probably at the end there, the bell came to his rescue a bit because he did suffer from that pot shot that we saw at the finish.
Certainly
By
did.
golly, was that a beautiful punch.
It's, I think that you could imagine Keady in against somebody his own height would be an exceptionally different fight to what we saw tonight. I think that would be a far better fight to watch from an even Stevens point of view.
Call you when you're making the results. And that points out probably the limitations probably a little bit there, Dean Keady. That in this division, Scotty, he's going to have a height problem.
He is.
With the big light heavies like the Lantourises.
Yeah, he could maybe drop a couple of kilo or two. Like
he could.
And that sort of criticism, he certainly looks fit and toned, but I think maybe a division or so lighter might be to his advantage.
Definitely drop a kilo or two.
You think he'd be better suited to super middleweight level, maybe around about the 76.2, and fighting that division might be more suitable to his physique.
Yeah, exactly. He certainly looks happy, you know, in the corner. He looks, I think, resigned to the fact that he knows he lost the fight, but he gave it his all, and I don't think you can ever be disappointed if you give it 100%.
Exactly.
You get beaten by a better guy on the night, so be it.
I'll tell you what, you know, he's quite a tough cookie too. I mean, he took some good shots. He really didn't look like he was going to hit the deck. He handled them well, and he can throw a pretty decent punch himself. Good body puncher and nice left hook he's got too.
He has, no doubt about that. And in fact, that he showed a bit in the last round. You'd think that if you could go back a few rounds and maybe I know the extra effort was there, but put a little bit more, another 10% in some of those other rounds, he may have been able to restructure the last part of that fight.
Oh, look, I don't think he was ever going to beat Lantouris tonight. No matter what he did, he wasn't going to get over Lantouris. But you know, a different opponent could have been a result.
Yes, and here we go. The results. Howard Lee in ring centre with the results.
Gentlemen, we go to scorecards and we have a unanimous decision. Judge John Miller scores it 79-73. Judge David Wignall 80-72. Judge Ms. Anita Williams 79-74. All for the winner and still unbeaten, Nick Lantouris. That you came to do well. It was a tough battle. You threw some good body punches tonight.
Yeah, well, he didn't come here for a haircut, I know that for sure, but no, he put up a good fight.